Tim Allen's car collection is deeply personal, shaped by a bond with his late father who died in a car accident when Allen was just 11. "My dad loves cars," he once said. "The love of cars is all I have of him, really."
So all these cars are yours? Everyone?
Yes, I've ended up buying every. It pumps out 454 horses. I just said, could you put it in? They went, yeah.
That connection drives his passion. Many of the cars he owns today are ones he dreamed of as a kid, or collected during key moments in his career, starting with the 1968 Chevrolet Camaro 427 COPO. For Tim Allen, the 1968 Chevrolet Camaro 427 COPO isn't just another classic muscle car. It's the physical embodiment of a long childhood obsession. Before fame, before sitcom success, before the million-dollar paychecks from home improvement, Allen was just a kid who owned a remote-controlled model of this very car. He didn't just admire the Camaro from afar, he built models of it, lived with its shape and styling in miniature, and internalized it as a dream worth chasing.
This is a beautiful Camaro. You know, I've been looking at it when it first pulled in. I went, oh.
So when he finally got the chance to buy one, it wasn't about adding a valuable collectible to his garage. It was more like completing a personal loop. By that time, he could afford the real thing. But Allen didn't just settle for stock. He made his own, dropping a Corvette 427 engine that produces 505 horsepower. That decision says a lot about him. He's someone who respects history, but he also wants the machine to move, to perform the way his childhood self imagined it would. There's just something so poignant in that. This car is one of only 50 Hurst 4-speed models ever built, so already it carries rarity and significance in the collector world. But Allen's connection goes beyond scarcity or market value, which is around $302,900 today. The real value is in the story. A boy with a toy Camaro who one day got to own the full-size version, then rebuilt it to match the fantasy he had growing up. It's personal, not performative. And that's exactly what makes this car stand out in his collection. It's not just muscle and metal, it's memory. But not every car in Allen's garage is about brute American force or childhood nostalgia. Some, like his 1965 Jaguar E-Type, reflect a quieter kind of appreciation, one rooted in elegance, proportion, and timeless design. The 1965 Jaguar E-Type isn't just a car, it's the standard by which he seems to measure automotive beauty.
And I drove this, my Jaguar E-Type 65, I believe.
He's called it the most beautiful car in the world, and not in passing. It's his all-time favorite, and there's something telling about the word he often uses to describe it: delicate. That's not a term most gearheads reach for, especially someone like Allen who owns monstrous Detroit muscle with big block engines and unfiltered power. But with the E-Type, it's different. It speaks to another side of him, someone who deeply appreciates the artistry of engineering and the restraint that defines classic design.
There's nothing like this automobile. It feels delicate. I feel like I need a pencil-thin mustache.
He likely picked it up during or after the peak of his fame, when he had the time, money, and perspective to start curating a collection that reflected his sensibilities, not just his status, and the E-Type fits perfectly in that picture. Valued around $280,000, it's not the flashiest or fastest car in his garage, but it holds a kind of quiet authority. It's a car that doesn't need to shout to be seen. Just the silhouette, the impossibly long hood, the tapering tail, it's enough to signal timelessness. If the Jaguar speaks to Allen's artistic side, then the 1966 Ferrari 330 GTC reflects the stature and confidence that came with success.
I've always loved this car. I've always loved the look of it. Correspondingly, I love it.
And the desire to fold that into his public and personal identity. Valued today at around $3.41 million, the Ferrari 330 GTC is arguably one of the most extravagant vehicles in his entire collection. But it's not just a trophy. This car appeared on Home Improvement, blurring the line between Tim Allen the actor and Tim Allen the car enthusiast. It wasn't stashed away in a private garage, it was part of the set, part of the character, part of the story. That choice, putting a multi-million-dollar car on screen, says something about the role his Ferrari played in Allen's life. It wasn't just about owning it, it was about sharing what it represented, a rival, accomplishment, and a deep respect for European performance and design. He likely bought the Ferrari during the height of his popularity in the 1990s when both television and film roles were bringing in significant income, and it shows. The 330 GTC is not an understated car. It combines old-world Italian elegance with serious capability, a blend that mirrors Alan's evolution as a public figure. Still grounded in mechanics and machines, but operating now at a higher level of refinement. There's also the kind of irony in using a Ferrari, of all things, as a TV prop. It's rare, it's expensive, it's not the car you casually park in the background. But for Alan, that wasn't the point. He wasn't showing off, he was weaving a piece of his real life into his work. And that tells us a lot. The Ferrari wasn't there to be admired from a distance, it was part of the narrative, just like the Camaro was part of his childhood, and the E-Type spoke to his aesthetic sense. The 330 GTC marked a professional milestone. Success not just achieved, but lived through cars he loved. Continuing from the Ferrari, we see how some cars in Alan's collection mirror his fame and fortune, but not all of them carry that weight. Some are tied more closely to process than prestige. The 1933 Ford Roadster is one of those cars. Less about flash, more about growth. A car that marks not a milestone, but a chapter.
Like this one was the first hot rod we built for home improvement, and I learned a lot.
This one wasn't acquired from a showroom or at auction. It came off the set of Home Improvement, a tangible artifact from the show that made him a household name. But unlike the Ferrari 330 GTC, which symbolized status, the Roadster represents something more personal: learning. Alan has described working on this car as a, quote, learning experience, especially when it came to hot rods. It was a crash course on how these cars are put together, how they behave, and where he fits into that world of custom builds and classic American car culture. It's telling that he still keeps it. Valued at around $44,000, it's not one of the most expensive vehicles in his garage, and he's even admitted he built it differently today. That honestly adds weight. He's not clinging to it because it's perfect. He's holding on to it because it taught him something. In a collection full of refined machines and restored dreams, this one stands out as a bit rougher, more personal, and maybe even unfinished. It's not just the car, it's a reminder of who he was becoming during that time. What makes the Roadster unique is how visible it was. It wasn't just a behind-the-scenes project, it was right there on Home Improvement, as much a part of the show's DNA as Alan's grunting toolman persona. Fans saw it, they associated it with him, and after the show ended, he took it with him, not just physically, but as a part of his identity. If the 1933 Ford Roadster was about learning through doing, then the 1956 Ford F100 is about bringing everything full circle, fusing Alan's decades-long passion for cars with his career's second major television act.
The women I know go, what do you do with it? And I go, well, actually, you just kind of look at it.
The truck isn't just something he drives, it's something he drove on screen during the final season of The Last Man Standing. Just like the Roadster and the Ferrari before it, the F100 wasn't hidden in a garage. It was part of the story, part of the set, part of the character. But what sets this truck apart is how it bridges eras. It's a classic body sitting on a modern performance chassis, a retro shape powered by new age engineering, a Restomod, but with a twist. Built with help from McLaren to commemorate Ford's 100th anniversary, this F100 isn't your average restored pickup. It's the kind of project that reflects not just wealth or taste, but access. Alan's ability to call in expertise from one of the most respected names in performance engineering and have it built right. That collaboration alone gives the truck a layer of prestige beyond its modest current valuation of $25,000. He reportedly bought it at auction for $78,000, likely sometime during the 2010s when Last Man Standing was either on the air or returning for its revived seasons. And that timeline matters. By then, Alan wasn't just a car guy on TV. He was a car guy with decades of experience, a serious collector, and someone with enough perspective to appreciate the craftsmanship behind something like this. It's also worth noting how seamlessly this truck fits into his TV legacy. It's not flashy, it's not foreign, it's not meant to impress at first glance, but under the skin, it's serious machinery. That's very much in line with Alan's on-screen personas over the years. Practical, working-class men who care deeply about how things work, not just how they look. In that sense, the F100 feels like a mature choice, a vehicle that doesn't need to prove anything but still has the power and the pedigree to surprise you. Like the man who owns it, it's been around the block a few times, and it's all the better for it. Wow, what a ride through Tim Allen's incredible car collection. It's clear that for the tool man, these aren't just vehicles, they are chapters of his life. From the childhood dream, the 1968 Chevy Camaro 427 COPO, to the elegant beauty of the 1965 Jaguar E-Type, and even the on-screen star, the 1966 Ferrari 330 GTC, we saw how his passion for cars is deeply rooted in personal history. Whether it's the learning experience of the 1933 Ford Roadster or the full-circle pride of his 1956 Ford F100 Restomod built with McLaren's help, each car is a testament to a man who appreciates craftsmanship, performance, and a good story. So, which of Tim Allen's phenomenal machines revs your engine the most? Let us know in the comments below, and if you want to see more celebrity car collections and dive deeper into the world of automotive excellence, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow gearheads, and subscribe to our channel for more horsepower-packed content. And I can't resist recording a voiceover for a video about Tim Allen without at least one